Hi, and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Shelley Whitehead. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Charter Channel 8, where you can see us 6 days a week. If for some reason you're out enjoying this amazing weather, you may have to check us out on the internet. You can do that on YouTube, blip.tv, as well as Facebook. And when you do like us on Facebook, Leanne does upload the most recent episodes so you can keep up with what's going on in your community, or maybe check out what your friends are doing. It's a great way to just keep in touch. We'd love for you to be a part of us by joining us on Facebook. We do want to thank you so much for joining us here, and we're always looking for new ideas. There's all sorts of ways you can tell us. You can let us know by email at owatonnatoday@charter.net. You can also call Leanne Alt at 390-5751. Let us know what's going on in your community, in your event, what you've got going on. Let us know so that we can get you on the air and talk about it and let the community know about what's going on. Like today, we're going to be talking with Darren Reed and Greg Zweber, who are talking to us a little bit about his new position, Darren's new position at the Safe and Drug Free Coalition. So stick around for that. Also, we're going to be doing an interview from 2009 with Jason Davis from On the Road. He's retiring, and we had the opportunity to speak to him back then. So we'll re-show you that, kind of reintroduce you to him and how he talked to us here in Owatonna. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
When using a fire extinguisher, we suggest using the pass system. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher that keeps the handle from being accidentally pressed. Aim the nozzle toward the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle to discharge the extinguisher. If you release the handle, the discharge will stop. Sweep the nozzle back and forth at the base of the fire. After the fire appears to be out, watch it carefully since it may reignite. If you have the slightest doubt about whether or not to fight the fire, get out and close the door behind you. This has been a safety message from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, my name is Dave Olson and I'm with R&K Electric, where we provide power to the people. We're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we are back with the Owatonna Today Show. As I said, I do have in studio with me Darren Reed and Greg Zweber. Hi.
Good morning. Morning.
How are you gentlemen today?
Very good, thanks.
Good. We're going to start with a quick introduction, if you don't mind. We'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Darren Reed. I am the new project coordinator at the Safe and Drug Free Coalition.
Good, thank you.
And Greg Zweber, the executive director for Big Brothers Big Sisters, but here on behalf of the Safe and Drug Free Coalition, I'm the current chair of the steering committee.
And so, Greg, there's been a little bit of change over at the Safe and Drug Free Coalition. First of all, tell me, why are you a part of that coalition? What's important to you about it?
Well, with Big Brothers Big Sisters, we're obviously focused on the benefit to kids in the community, and I've been involved since the beginning of the coalition, and it's been something that's been really a good experience for me, and it's good for me to bring things back to Big Brothers Big Sisters and how we can help the children that we're working with learn about the prevention message and what we can do to help kids make the right choices before they misstep.
Mm-hmm. And the person who was in this position before has moved on to bigger
Tanya
things.
Paley, who did a wonderful job as the project coordinator, has fortunately or unfortunately moved on, but we are keeping her in the community here, which is the important thing. So she has taken a new position with the United Way, so she'll be there to coach and mentor Darren and to continue to help us, and she's going to be still involved on our steering committee and things like that too. So I feel like we haven't lost her, and we've gained Darren here as a new person who's focusing on it. So it'll be a good transition, I think, in the end.
When you made that choice when you did the job search, what led you to Darren specifically? What were some of the things that attracted you to him?
He has a background mostly in recovery, but his previous position, as he'll tell you a little bit about with the Yellow Ribbon, was about suicide prevention. So he knows the prevention message. He knows that methodology and that language of it. So that's really what drew us to us. And also, you'll find out in a minute, a very polished public speaker, and so we really want him to get out and talk to the business community, talk to the faith community. So that's part of the reason why we picked Darren as well.
Well, it sounds like a great opportunity to meet him. So we'll go ahead, Darren Reed. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. This is going to be your new home. You're going to be here a lot. We'll be hanging out together. Yeah. So let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you're from, and kind of your history.
Absolutely. Well, as Greg mentioned, I'm from Mankato, and my previous work in the nonprofit world was with the Southern Minnesota Recovery Connection, and was there about 4 years. Mm-hmm. And that is a recovery resource for people that are in recovery from substance abuse. A lot of people that enter recovery for the first time, whether they're forced into it by the judicial system or they enter it on their own, there's some confusion. They may not know what is there for them, or their first experience with it is not very pleasurable, so they want to quit. And that's what that organization is there for, so that they can learn about other areas of recovery, other avenues, other ways that their recovery works for them. Prior to that, I was with the Yellow Ribbon Suicide Prevention Program, where we predominantly were in education, awareness, and advocacy for mental health and suicide prevention, where we worked with the schools, general assemblies, where the primary message was to increase help seeking. We weren't trying to diagnose people with mental illness in the presentation or anything like that. The main message was to increase help seeking, so that if somebody was feeling that way, they would know that it's okay to ask for help. Something like that carries a lot of stigma, so people usually bury that deep inside and don't ask for help. You know, I've heard over the years many times people say, well, we don't talk about those things in our family. We keep those hidden. So we were trying to reverse that and go into those schools early and tell those kids it's okay to ask for help and where they could get that.
You know, you've had some heavy jobs in the sense that you've really worked with some people who are in trouble, who need help. What led you to be that kind of, because that takes a lot out of you, I think, imagine mentally as well. So what made you decide that this is your passion, this is what you had to do with your life, is serve other people in this way?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was fate the first time, and then I realized I really did enjoy helping youth, helping my community with something that is a struggle for them. But I have some personal experience as well. I'm in long-term recovery myself, and for me, where I grew up, alcohol was considered a good thing with youth sports. In high school, you were looked up at least we thought, because we could drink and play. And you really would see movies where they would glamorize things like the frat parties and college life, and everyone is drinking and passing out, and that was acceptable. In fact, that was what you should do. So you really thought that was the normal part of life, and at least I did. And I had many struggles with it. When I took my first drink, I had no idea what addiction would do to me at some point, and how it would nearly take my life, or at least everything that was very dear to me. So that wasn't something I was aware of. So at this point, I look forward to being able to at least be that voice to say, this is what can happen. You don't want this to happen. Most people that start out, I'd say the vast majority, start out for those social reasons. They think it's going to help them have fun. They're going to make friends. They're just going to be at the party. Nobody envisions ruining their life. But unfortunately, with a lot of alcoholics and addicts, they don't get a second chance. Their destiny may be death or permanent incarceration. So for those people, their only chance was prevention, to not get there in the first place. And really, that's what I'm hoping to be able to work with.
Well, it sounds like you have an amazing platform already for yourself, a personal platform to work with the coalition and kind of move forward in the Owatonna area. So tell me a little bit about how your approach, because you're walking into a new position that's got a well-established program. Talk to me how you plan on integrating into that program.
Well, first thing will be a lot of research and studying to see what the program model is, to see what has been accomplished, what hasn't. There will be a sort of a triage setup where, what types of things have been put on the back burner. Have they been on the back burner too long? Do we need to kick things up on that? Or what is on the plate right now, and what do I need to do right away? So there's going to be a lot of learning these first few weeks on where I need to go, what I need to stay with, and maybe some people I need to catch up with.
You're coming in at a very interesting time because it is graduation season, and it's the time for kids to kind of start planning their freedom from mom and dad, and so sometimes they do that in a way that might not always be appropriate. So tell me a little bit, and we want to talk about the social ordinance, and you're aware of this ordinance. Tell me a little bit about that and what that means to parents who are thinking about having a party for their kids.
Sure. With the social host ordinance, what that basically means is if you know about a party on your premises, you're just as guilty.
So do you have to be there for the party?
No, you could be anywhere. So if you're down vacationing in Florida or in the Caribbean,
which many of us do.
I go there every other weekend.
Yeah.
So. And if you're down there doing that, your excuse is not, I wasn't there. If you know about it, you legitimately know about it, you're just kind of pretending like it's not happening or whatever the situation, you're guilty on that.
You know, I heard recently about parents who rented a bus for their kids to be drinking on, and there's these things. And as parents and as grandparents who are watching the show, how can we talk to our kids and convince them that what they want isn't the best thing for them? You know, because the kids are there pestering them, and parents want to be cool and they want to be liked. How can you help them bridge that gap?
My best advice is, one, be a parent and not a friend. I know that's hard as a parent myself, but ultimately we need to start setting examples and say this is the right. This is not the norm. Sometimes youth, I was one myself that felt like the normal was to be partying and to doing that. So this is a great chance as a parent to say, no, that's not the normal, and you're just not going to be part of that. We're not going to be part of that.
Do you think that also your message through your life story is also a way to show parents that by letting them do this, by allowing them to have that first drink, allowing them to have that first party, this is where they could end up? Do you think that'll also be a useful tool?
Definitely. Growing up, my parents, I don't necessarily knew as much about what I did as maybe they could have. But all the parents together, my friends' parents, there was enough where everyone kind of knew what was happening, but just pretend like it wasn't, or it was easier to deal with if it didn't happen. You know, I'm not certain on what was there, but certainly if somebody stood up and said, no, we're not going to allow this to happen, not only are we not buying it for you, but, you know, kids can find their own sources. If you're giving them that spot, that place to do it, that can be just as bad.
Yeah, and so had a parent stepped up and said no, who knows? You know,
Right.
It could have affected your life in a very positive way.
Certainly.
And so interesting that that's an important message for parents as well. Again, I love the message of it's not the norm. This is not all kids are drinking at their graduation parties. Most of them are not. And so just to be aware of that. We want to have you back again, of course. And so we do want to also next time, if it's okay, talk about the legalization of medical marijuana.
Absolutely.
And what that can mean, because I know that parents do struggle sometimes with kids getting into their medicine cabinets and that kind of thing. So we want to make sure we talk about that. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you and welcome to the party.
Thank you.
And I want
Thanks
to
for having
say
us.
thank you for coming on and introducing him. And if people have questions, because I know the coalition is all about the community, talking, people getting involved, how can they get a hold of the coalition to get a part of that?
Well, I believe the information's on the screen. They can either give us a call or they can email me, and I'd be more than happy to address their question, answer questions, help them get involved, whatever level they want to.
Because it's important for people to be involved. That's what the coalition is all
Absolutely.
about. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, again.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, my name is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance. We're here to handle all your insurance needs. We are a very proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Have you talked to your teen about marijuana lately? Maybe you should. Regular marijuana use can sap a teen's motivation to learn. Users do not live up to their potential and drop out of positive activities. Marijuana affects memory and learning and stays in your system for weeks. Marijuana also affects judgment and perception. Reaction time when driving is reduced by 41% after smoking one joint and 63% after smoking two, affecting the safety of your teen and other drivers on the road. You need to talk to your teen about the effects of marijuana use. It's not just a harmless high. For more information, please contact the Steele County Safe and Drug-Free Coalition.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome to Bremer Bank. I am Jason Iberg.
And I am Shannon Pedersen.
Bremer is a full financial services bank.
We invite you to stop by Bremer Bank and experience the Bremer difference.
You are always welcome at Bremer.
Hello, I'm David Einhaus with the Owatonna Foundation. Thank you to all of our donors who have helped make Owatonna a better place to live. Will you join us today with a financial gift? Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Thank you for joining us out on location for the Owatonna Today Show. We have a very distinct pleasure of being at the Owatonna Arts Center just following their spring luncheon and benefit for the Arts Center after a beautiful luncheon attended by
Full house.
And being entertained, I dare say, and spoken to
or bored.
Spoken at.
Stiff.
We're not bored. Jason Davis, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I am.
Now, we had someone on earlier talking about this event coming up. No, we didn't. We were talking about a different fair and event coming up. How is it that you came to be in Owatonna today?
They asked me to come about sometime either very early this year or late last year. Okay. I got an email from them saying, could you do this? And I looked at my calendar and I said I could do this. Okay, and I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, I'll tell you the truth. I enjoyed it because two things. One is that it's a very rare opportunity for us to see the people, our viewers, to see our viewers. We never see our viewers. We see the camera lens.
Go around doing this kind of
thing. Well, we
right?
just see the camera lens.
Exactly.
So to see the people who watch you and feel the vibes coming back from them is really something that I appreciate personally very much.
And of course, Jason Davis, for those of you who may not know, On the Road is the program that you've been associated with for how many years now?
Well, I've been at KSTP for 33 years.
33 years.
And I've been in television for 40.
I mean, maybe we should go all the way back. What got you into media?
Well, it's a long story. You only have 10 minutes.
Encapsulate.
I was in Australia as a merchant seaman from Britain, and to cut a very long story short, I had an opportunity to go into a little tiny TV station and ask them for a job.
Okay.
And much to my amazement, and probably to everybody who's met me since, they gave me one. $65 a week as an announcer, and I learned everything I needed to know to get started.
That's what usually happens, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very primitive, very small. Well, I wouldn't say primitive is the wrong word to use, but very fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
But they were a full-service TV station. They had a children's show, a live children's show. A lot of things were live in those days because we didn't have the recording equipment. So I learned to use the cameras and in the studio as well as in the field. Did a little news and then got a job after 2 years. I thought I was God's gift to television.
Did you?
Yeah. But I wasn't. As the people in the city told me, they said, go away and get some more experience. But I did get a job finally in the big city of Melbourne, Australia, and worked at Channel 9 there, one of the leading stations, if not the leading station. And I was quite successful there. My wife I had met at the little station, and she's an American, so we had the opportunity and the option to come to the United States, and I could get a green card, a visa, because I was married to an American. Mm-hmm. And we had two young children, and we decided to take our chances and come here. And it's a very long story, but I started in Phoenix, Arizona. I was there only for 6 months at a Cool TV, and Stan Turner from KSTP, whom a lot of your viewers will know, saw me on the air, and he was at that time news director, and he called me and asked me if I would fly up to Minneapolis and meet Stan Hubbard, which I did, and they subsequently offered me a job. That was 1976. That was a long time ago.
That's okay.
The feature thing you asked about, how did I get into that? I was a news reporter.
Were you strictly news reporter?
Everybody was.
Okay.
But I started doing a little feature work, and I enjoyed it. And Stan Turner actually came to me one day and said, "You know what? Everybody enjoys your features so much. Why don't you just do features?"
Okay.
So I went, well, "That's great. I would love to do that." That was in 1977 or something. So I've been doing it for over 30 years.
Oh my goodness. Now, how do you constantly? Well, maybe at this point it's a no-brainer, but up with the ideas for the stories, the things you're going to
go out and...
It's a good question. It's one that I get a lot. And the answer is, you answered it yourself, it's almost automatic. First of all, with all those years of appearing on the air, there's a constant flow of material towards me, either by mail or now email. Of course, is a big one these days. Phone calls. I get newspapers from around the state, and I look through those when I've got time. Go online now and look at newspapers. But I really don't have to make a huge effort at this. What I had to make a huge effort at is geography. If I'm going to go to western Minnesota, I don't want to drive all the way out there just for one story. So I need to find another one, and that's sometimes a challenge.
Okay.
I've got a great story out in western Minnesota, but that's a 4.5-hour drive. What else am I going to do? I've got to go to Grand Rapids tomorrow, and I don't have another story in Grand Rapids, so I'll probably spend the day here. Yeah, if anybody's got a story in Grand Rapids or the region, but I have to be there Friday morning early, so I have to go up there tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't have another story up there, so I'm going to have to, or at least not now. I'm working on stuff.
Well, and does anything ever happen when you're up there doing a story that leads
Very
to
rarely.
another story?
Well, I shouldn't say that. People will often say to me, oh, you know what, this is going to happen in a few weeks, or that's going to happen, or have you heard about this? Yeah, but it doesn't happen like then. They don't say, oh, just walk down the street, there's another story. There is often leads to other stories. Yeah, that happens a lot. People, I know so many people now, it's unbelievable.
Well, and again, after doing it for so many years, I can imagine the ideas that probably get thrown at you. Many of them you may have to weed through and say,
Oh, yeah, a lot. Most of them, you go, it's not going to work. But you know what the great thing is? When I call, people answer the phone. And they call me back.
Nice.
Because, they recognize the name. So
and
even if they, and the voice. Mostly, if I call out of the viewing area, it's different. If I call somebody in Iowa or North Dakota, they're not going to know who I am. But then I just tell them to go online and check me out, and they do, and boy, they find that.
When you very first started, though, and when you talk about doing feature stories, and if no one else was really doing them, especially to the extent that you are now, was it a little tougher then to go out and get the stories? Or what? Do you remember some of your very first?
I do. In fact, I still have them. Okay. I have a library of over 4,000 stories.
Really?
Yeah. Not to mention all the programs, the half-hour programs we've done. Yeah. So, and I have pretty much everything I've done.
Really?
Yeah. Some of it looks pretty bad in retrospect. It goes back to the film, when we were using film. Yeah. We transferred it to videotape, and we still have them. Okay. We've upgraded and we're going through another great convulsion now, changing from tape to digital. And I'm not sure what will happen to all those archives now. Hopefully they don't get destroyed, but you never know.
Well, it's technically over my head, so I'm not even going to try to speak to that,
videotapes, got a finite life. It's not going to last forever, and unless it's digitized, and even then, there are problems with DVDs will break down after a while. So, I'm not immortal. Sorry, I wish I was. I used to think I was, that my stuff would live on endlessly forever after I'm dead and gone. But no, it will deteriorate and disappear.
Well, you have been a source of entertainment for many, many people over the years.
Thank you.
This would probably be a question. It's your typical kind of reporter type question, but what stands out? Is there a particular notable couple of features that you've done?
Well, yeah. I showed to the group today some of the most memorable, a couple of most memorable stories. But you have to go back to what we did with Jerry Speece, who sailed his 10-foot boat across the Atlantic. That was a hugely popular story. We were the only ones there. To me, it was vitally important. It was wonderful to go back to England on Stanley Hubbard's Buck and do this fantastic story. And he came back a national hero. Will Steger's the same thing. We went to the North Pole with Will, and I actually went to the North Pole and met him there, and we hit that for 2 years. And some of the other stories like that have been most memorable. I can name hundreds of people who have got a special place in my heart because I've met them and they've poured out their hearts to me too. And it happens all the time.
Anything that you still want to do that you have not yet accomplished?
No, not really. No. But I look forward to every story. So I'm just as excited about the story I'm going to do tomorrow as I was about the stories I did 30 years ago.
What a wonderful aspect of
I just look forward to doing it, and I create the story in my head before we get there, and then I engineer it, and then I write it, and the writing process is very gratifying. as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
what a
most
pleasure
welcome.
to have you here in
Thank
Owatonna,
you.
Minnesota.
I enjoyed it.
Visiting us and here at our Arts Center, and thank you so much.
Beautiful
for
Arts
the
Center.
wonderful support of our
Thank you.
facility here. And I'm very
Can I come again one day?
Absolutely.
All right,
Please
I
come
will.
back as frequently as you'd like. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you to our Owatonna Today Show viewers for joining us on location today.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
We hope you really enjoyed that rebroadcasting of the Jason Davis interview from 2009. I don't know if you've heard, but he is retiring from his On the Road show, and so we wanted to kind of give him a shout out and thank him for the time he spent with us a couple of years ago. It is time for a look at our community service announcements, so we're going to look at those. As part of the programming for the Transfer of Money exhibit, the Steele County Historical Society will host Holocaust survivor and author Dora Zweber on Thursday, June 5th at 6:30 at the History Center. Dora was born in Radom, Poland, and together with her mother, she survived the Radom forced labor camp and was liberated in 1945 from Bergen-Belsen. There is a reduced admission on the 5th for $2 for both the exhibit and the program, and if you are a member, you are admitted free of charge. The Owatonna Arts Center has several June events you want to kind of keep your eye on. It's the Carolyn G. Halliday and Kimber Olson exhibition. View the unique textile art of Carolyn and Kimber through the month of June. Both artists reference cycles in nature with a variety of materials. And that is through the entire month of June. Then Dying to Donate. Enjoy a meal at Applebee's anytime during the June 19th day. And tell your waiter you want to donate to the fundraiser for the Owatonna Arts Center, and you'll receive 10% of the sales. That is Thursday, June 19th. That's for them to try and raise $12,000 until the 12th, so that'd be of July. So you want to be a part of that. Also at the Art Center, it's the Easel exhibition, Experience Art in Southeastern Libraries on June 19th, showcasing original artworks by regional artists. The exhibition revolves around each artist's interpretation of the theme of books, a letter or letters regarding authors or the library. The Steele County artists represented in this exhibition are Kay Ning Doffenbach, Sandy Denise, and Judy Serson. The exhibition is sponsored by the Southeastern Minnesota Library and the Southeastern Minnesota Visual Arts. Join Riverbend Naturalists on June 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. for the first Thursday Women in Nature Outdoor Skills. That's coming up very soon. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on Friday when we're going to be talking to Steele County's Sheriff Department, and as well as talking about the Harry Wenger Marching Band Festival. See you then.